Everyone who has ever had to deal with the loss of a loved one, in their grief-stricken state, has desired for a way to bring this person back. The act of bringing someone back from the dead is a common storytelling device, especially in horror, used many times throughout the years. Stephen King's Pet Sematary, The Monkey's Paw, and all the stories that spawn from those two, and Magic Alive by McKinley Dixon. The issue in these stories with bringing loved ones back from the dead is they never truly come back the same. McKinley Dixon is not new to the scene whatsoever, dropping quality projects for a decade at this point, starting in 2016 with Who Taught You to Hate Yourself. But it wasn't until last year when he released his breakout concept album Magic Alive that he got put on the radar for many. I say breakout, but he's still pretty much only known in the Rate Your Music and Album of the Year music nerd space. He deserves so much more attention though. Magic Alive is a concept album about 3 kids who have to deal with the loss of one of their best friends. Not like anyone truly is, but especially these young adolescents are not at all equipped to deal with this loss at such a young age, and they start to toy with the idea of using magic to bring their friend back. I absolutely love this album. The gorgeous live jazz instrumentation, the whimsical and theatrical rap performances, and the themes McKinley Dixon explores in it. So I've decided to do a track-by-track breakdown of the entire record, going over the story explained throughout, and at the end talking about the themes and ideas and how they all work together. Fair warning, the record doesn't always put the concept at the forefront in every track. The narrative acting more as a through line at points to back up the album, as opposed to concept albums such as Ethel Cain or Quedeca's work, where the narrative is the entire point. But that just means there's even more reason for you to go listen to this on your own if you haven't, as the actual music is what makes this so great. The story of the 3 kids is also told from the narrator's POV, looking back on it as an adult, so we do occasionally jump forward to the present time. With that out of the way, let's get into Magic Alive. The opening track, Watch My Hands, sets the scene, acting mostly as a world building and tone setting track, as we get placed on a hot summer day following a group of friends.
Summer is hot, babies and beaters, sweat beating under my t-shirt.
This short introduction track is so captivating to me with the flowery and poetic writing and simple but effective set dressing. We see the friends chatting following a tragic event. We know in hindsight it is the loss of their friend. The song then ends with the line that sets up the rest of the album, as one of their friends runs in with some sort of magic in his hands.
Young come running like tight in his hands, we gather our naskets, magic alive.
The magic they will use to try to resurrect their friend. That setup is immediately followed up on in Sugar Water, as McKinley Dixon opens the track calling back to a time he got attacked while selling drugs and the remorse he feels for this action.
Collecting once, now I'll never move again alone. Made a couple dollars from fist filled with rock and broken home.
This could tie into the album thematically, as he's about to have another action to show remorse for, but it could also be more relevant to the actual narrative in here. Maybe their friend's death was related to that drug run or a direct effect of it. The second verse places us with the group again, as they're directly conversing and plotting on how to enact this resurrection.
And how we raising from the ground, type shit discussing with my cousins.
Even before they do, Dixon shows a bit of apprehension towards this act, and wonders if they are being selfish in this act. Is it even their place to bring him back and play God? Then, in the final verse of this track, it is done. They have successfully brought their friend back from the dead.
He cracked and birthed a new host, I seen him swing his hand. He got down a whole light post, was happy when I seen him, his dance a beautiful sight.
They can't believe it, but their elation only lasts a moment, as Dixon can immediately tell something is wrong.
Now I take a step back, seen him in a different light. Goddamn what I done did, what have I promised him?
This is not the same person they once knew. I'm sure I'll say this multiple times throughout the video, but I have to point out how incredible the storytelling is in here. This final verse in particular is so vivid. You can see everything going down so clearly in your head. Really impressive writing. The following Crooked Stick doesn't advance the story forward a huge amount, aside from one massive realization. The track follows the group after resurrecting this malicious version of their friend, as they narrowly escape him.
Ever since that night, I feel alive to close calls. I seen your dogs, heard them bark, but they done lost, so they snarl.
The narrator then learns after touching the magic referred to in the opening track, he now has the power to bring people back to life just by touching them. In Recitative, which the title is a reference to a short story by prolific author Toni Morrison, who McKinley Dixon has referenced plenty of times throughout his work, most notably his album previous to Magic Alive, Beloved Paradise Jazz, being a reference to Toni Morrison's most famous body of work, a trilogy of novels of the same names. Anyway, back to the track. We take a pause from the narrative here for the first part of the track, as we are in the present, as Dixon tells us a dream from his childhood, where he heard his name being called from his window, and he watches his mother dance through the whole night, which I'm pretty sure is metaphorical and used to tie back to the short story the song is named after. In this first verse, we do see Dixon grappling with the idea of if he is allowed to play God, and if he even has the right to do this resurrection. This first part of the track is soothing, and Dixon raps over this calm jazz instrumentation before the beat switches and it comes to a more aggressive, almost horrorcore instrumental. Towards the end of the second verse, we come back to the kids as the tension is building, and he tells his friends the one they resurrected is coming to get them, and they need to run. That brings us to Run 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 Part 2. The Part 2 being because it's sort of a follow-up track to Run 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 off of Dixon's last album. The track starts with a prolonged but gorgeous instrumental opening. There again isn't a ton that moves the actual narrative forward in here, as most of the track is a callback to the original track, and what is focused on the concept is mostly more just contemplating on the ethics of using this magic, and does more work to tie together the themes if anything. That doesn't stop it from being one of the best songs on the album though. Where Outside Rejoice Rejoice shows Dixon showing a great deal of regret going forward with the act of bringing their friend back to life, and going back to the theme of the ethics of playing God with people's lives. When I said in the intro that the narrative takes a backseat at a lot of points in here, I was not lying. As in, all the loved ones, what would you do? We don't really get any information towards the concept, but it is still a gorgeous track about McKinley Dixon's family life. The next track's title, Fistful of Light, is a callback to the opening track, where the boy came running in holding the magic light that started all of this. That title doesn't stop it from, again, not really having a whole lot to do with the concept, as it does work tying together themes of adolescence and naivety as well as legacy, but doesn't really advance the story forward. I love this album, but looking at it purely from the point of the narrative concept, it does start to fall apart a little bit in this middle stretch. I think having the resurrection take place in the second track is a bold and confident choice, but also leaves you with a lot of time and not a lot of substance for the story. Again though, despite this being a concept album, the narrative isn't Dixon's full focus here, and the actual music is so damn good that I can forgive that. Listen Gentle brings us back to the narrative as it shows Dixon in the present, playfully telling the album's story to a young child.
He said, baby boy, just come here, never fear. Let me pull a quarter from behind your ear. If I show you how to do it and you get the magic right, you can use these tricks to help your ass take flight.
As he expresses that this resurrection was a mistake and that their friend didn't come back the same.
I believe him as brilliant as I am stupid. I'll show you a boy with wings who loves shooting like he is Cupid.
In the second verse, it shows him reminiscing on times they had with their friend before he passed, and how he promises to keep his legacy in memory as he was before the resurrection.
On the days you put your knuckles towards cleft, and we laughed so hard, hands on our knees that we wept. Those the memories I try to preserve, and because that's what I think that child deserves.
And how he hopes his friend knows he only tried to bring him back out of love and desperation.
I kill myself to bring you back, how's that magic alive?
The title track, Magic Alive, serves as the climax to the album's narrative and playfully displays everything that has occurred up until this point. It is also just an incredible song. The first verse, talking about their friend's initial passing.
There we go, dropping his baby off. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, we watch the boy as he crossed.
Up until when they brought him back.
So you seen a nigga rise and laugh at you in the street, it's alive.
Using the infamous "It's Alive" quote from Frankenstein to really hammer in the fact he came back a monster. Then, the second verse is from a later perspective as he looks back on all of this and tells us that despite their friend no longer being on Earth, he will forever be with them in memory and legacy, which is what it really means to be alive.
Now shit, it really got me believing to live forever, to tell stories of who light up your eyes. We wear, we dance, survive, we fly, that's magic alive.
The final track on here is great, but it's much more introspective and doesn't really have much to do with the concept at all again, so I'll skip over it mostly here. And that is Magic Alive by McKinley Dixon. I hope this is still an entertaining breakdown despite not a whole lot happening throughout the album's actual narrative. I still just really wanted to talk about it, and I can't stress enough though to go listen to this for yourself. As I stated in the intro, the narrative isn't the sole focus of the album, and the actual music is so good. Do yourself a favor and check it out. It is a great exploration of grief and adolescence, coming of age, dealing with death, the morality and ethics of playing God, and also a whole lot more that I didn't cover, as it didn't fully fit in the story, but is still very important. So go listen. If you stayed to the end, thank you so much for watching. After this, I'm starting work on a really exciting deep dive that might take a bit longer, but will definitely be worth it, so stay tuned. And most importantly, stay kind.